Good morning. I had some technical difficulties, both in waking up. I I woke up at 2 o'clock, then again at 3, and again at 4, and I was like, no, I'm going to wake up when my alarm goes off at 5. So the next time I woke, I saw a dim light. So I'm like, okay, well, it must be near to 5. I guess it's weird that the light's coming up this early, but let's go with it. So I'm about to walk out the door, and I look at the time, and I'm like, oh, that's fantastic. I slept right through my alarm, and yeah, it's all good. I'm not late. I'm still going to be an hour and a half early, but I was just still a little impressed. It's all good. I went to bed a little later than I had hoped. It's okay. It's okay. $21 out the window. That's what I get paid when I'm working overtime. It's $21. So I lost that. Doesn't mean I can't make it up, but I'll be working again this Saturday, and probably the Saturday after that. And then things are supposed to resolve, and slightly, and we're supposed to be working 5 days a week again. So it's all good. It's all good. Take it while I can. Anyway, good morning, and let's talk a little bit about symbols. I think the image that I set up for this one was a circle, holding up my hand. It's all blurry. I had some technical difficulties with the laptop. It wanted to take an update, even though I thought that updates were obsolete for this dinosaur bone that I call a computer. Well, it's only 7 years old, but that's an archaeological find in a lot of ways for a laptop. But it's okay. It's working. I mean, it's working. Circles. Let's talk about the symbolism of circles. I think that it's kind of a symbol that is all over the world. Let me tell you a little bit about circles. We can talk about squares too. Circles and squares. So circles are very naturally occurring. You see them in the shape of the earth. You see them in the shape of the stars. All the objects, they're circles. But then you talk about something like a tree. Well, you're like, no, a tree is a line. Yeah, but it's round. Round. It goes around in a circle. Many things grow in and have circles to them. Whether or not a segment of it is a circle or it is by itself a circle. Here, how about this for a random thing to acknowledge as a circle? A bubble. A bubble. Even like a bubble on the surface of water is a circle. It's kind of interesting. And then for you Lion King fans out there, you've got the circle of life. But that's It's got some weird ideology to it. Then you have circles in the numbers. You have circles in letters. But let's go back to the circle of life talk for just a minute. In general, there are very many things. I've got a better word than things. Give me a minute. There are very many models of systems and cycles that I wonder if the word cycle comes from the word circle at all. Interesting. So when you're trying to plot a pattern of events that are happening again and again, what's the most efficient shape to represent that cycle? I mean, you could do a rounded, cornered square. You're going, and then you make a turn, and you go, and you make a turn. I mean, that could, you could do that, but that's not what. Maybe that's what I'll start doing just for the fun of it, though. You could have just done a circle. It's like I could have, but who does a square? They'd be like, hey, okay, all righty. I don't know. A circle is supposed to represent continuity and efficiency and ease and something that doesn't end. Kind of another word for continuity, but when I say a word, I like to further clarify. So, how else can we break down this circle? The sun is directly in my eyes. It's just lovely. By the way, Nate, if you're still here, I hope you got a job. Hope everything worked out for you. I've been without work very many times. And the point is just go work. Just go get a job and something else will happen eventually. A lot of people mess up when they're like, no, I'm waiting for my 45K job, I'm waiting for my 60K job, just work. Yeah, you're not going to be excessively excited about working for $9 an hour somewhere. But $9 an hour is better than $0 an hour. I don't care what any crazy person has to say about that. Well, if you start working, you might miss out on opportunities to get a job elsewhere. Yeah, and if you stop working, you might miss out on the opportunity to live in a house, and you'll get the opportunity to be homeless. So, it's up to you. I don't know what you're doing, but those comments have nothing to do with you, just my own experiences. The circle, I look around, and if I were to draw a line around my visual point of view, if I were to just turn around 360 degrees, I would draw a circle of seeing. It's not a square, it's not anything else, it's a circle. But where's some more significance to this symbolism of the circle? Here's some fun stuff about circles. There is a personality test that uses shapes instead of letters and all that. And it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny how they worked it out. You've got a circle, a square, a triangle, and a squiggle. And squiggle is not a polynomial. Wait a second. Polygon. Polynomial. I got that messed up. You got me messed up, bro. You got me messed up. Polygon. A squiggle is not a polygon, but they chose to use it on purpose for the artistic personalities, aka the not is it no, the sanguines. So maybe you don't. A lot of you probably have no idea what I'm saying when I say sanguine. It's a personality type. Artistic is a personality type in the same category. Bubbly personality, you might have heard bubbly. Well, the squiggle, circle, triangle, square is interesting because you look at the shapes and you're like, no, that makes sense though. Interestingly, the circle represents someone who is inviting. And yeah, I mean, go ahead. Let them please arrest you for breaking the law. I hope all of you get tickets for just not being chill. I wish people to get speeding tickets on a regular basis? Not really. It's just every now and then people get really bent out of shape. They ride my tail. And I'm like, I hope that you get your just reward there. Really ridiculous person. There was a sign, over here saying that that they're monitoring your speed, and they had the little thing tells you how fast you're going, and everybody's going like 79 miles an hour in a 60 zone, and I mean, I'm going 60. This dude passed me, and that's the funny thing about when you go the speed limit. It's kind of it's hard. It's hard not to notice. They notice. They think I'm going slow. It's a weird metaphor. Speaking of circles, tires on our cars. It's the only shape that is able to work. I mean, I know that there's tracks. That's an oval, a long oval, and that works. But anyway, circle's the most efficient. It's kind of interesting. All right, so here's an interesting comment though. I'm following the law currently, and it's exceptionally obvious to me who's not. Just like I'm following the law, and these people that are passing me have to break the law to pass me. It's kind of interesting as a metaphor. It's kind of interesting. And then they're angry at me because I'm impeding their ability to break the law. Which kind of reminds me of a certain, there's all sorts of examples, I suppose. But when a Gamoran it was weird. By the way, the sound yesterday that was going on, the weird high-pitched sound of wind or like a speaker or something, when that happened, it was my laptop. It was about to like explode in heat, catch on fire or something. It was working really hardcore overtime. So, poor thing. All right. No, okay, the example. Yeah, I'm getting back to business. The example is this. people that want to violate God's law oftentimes criticize others for following God's law. And I'm specifically what's coming to mind is the Gomorran activities and the Gomorran unions and the Gomorran marriages. Both hands on the wheel. The Gomorran marriages, all the Gomorran activities. And when you're doing all of that stuff, you want to criticize anybody that says that it's wrong because you want to do the Gomorran activity. But I've seen it in a lot of other ways too. Oftentimes, this person that's disobeying God's law will be hypercritical of someone that follows God's law, and that's interesting. It's interesting. I think it's because people really hold on to their sin. They idolize it without knowing it, or no, they know it, but without acknowledging it, taking it serious, and all that. So I see the cameras bumping a lot. I don't know what the image does. I thought I had noticed some of the first times that I went that it was really bumpy video, but I think somebody would literally have to send me the camera. I don't think I'd buy it myself. Well, it is cheaper on Amazon, but there are cameras that take out the jitter magically. It's not magic. Gyroscopic compensation. I don't know what's going on. But doesn't matter. It's not really important at all. But yeah, when you're going the speed limit, following the law, and everybody's passing you, it's just kind of interesting how obvious it is to the person following the law. When they're not paying attention to their behavior and they're just driving without any regard of the law, they might not notice how the degree that they're breaking the law or any of that. It's kind of interesting. How does that have anything to do with symbolism? I don't know. You tell me. How does that relate to a circle? Because I know that traffic violation tickets are squares, rectangles more than likely. Yeah, I think they're rectangles. You know how long it's been since I've been pulled over and ticketed for something? Quite a while. 2009. So a decade. No, that's not true. It happened again in 2011. No, it was 2012. I think it was 2012. All right. Just want to slow down there. Okay. One of the conveniences about always going the speed limit is you almost never have to use your brakes on the highway specifically. So that's kind of cool. But there's somebody in front of me that is going 10 miles below the speed limit, whatever that means. How does it relate to circles? What's the symbolism of circles related to the law? Wonder if I could make that connection. That'd be some kind of connection. Not impossible, just some kind of connection. The person, I was about to start the word with an L because it was not a man, but anyway, that is driving 10 miles below the speed limit is impeding traffic. People are like, it's like pretty serious. People act that way with me when I'm going the speed limit. How much more so when somebody's going 10 under? It's all good. There is a lower limit, on highways. You're not allowed to go a certain lower speed below, because it is dangerous. All right. I don't know. I'd like to be able to connect the law as a thing to the circle as a thing, but that's tricky. Because a lot of what I see in regards to our life is not circular. They talk about the circle of life, and I think that dude's brakes are on fire. Something. There's a lot of smoke coming from a vehicle up there. It smelled terrible. Okay, so life. There, in regards to an ecosystem, sure, there is a cycle regarding the physical world. Talking about, I'll go ahead and turn this off. I don't know if you heard that music at all this morning. I'll turn it off. There is a cycle. We're born, we consume, we die, and the world consumes us. One way or another. That's the physical reality, and for that there is a circle. But in regards to our spiritual life, it is not circular. It is just the word. Drawing a blank on the main word I was going to say related to that. Chronological. There's a word that defines going from point A to the shape, though. The most appropriate shape for our life is a ray. That's a thing that has a beginning and a thing that has no ending. We have a beginning without an end, spiritually speaking. Now God, He is the beginning and the end in the metaphor there. So some people would say that may be so. It could also be a line segment. However, I don't think either are true because he exists of time, so there's no need to measure his existence because you can't. It's extra dimensional. So I'm at a red light here. James, hi, lonesome hillbilly. What's going on? And Ouroboros. Yeah, the snake. Yeah. Occam's razor. He's outside of time. Yeah. I don't think Occam's razor applies to. I don't know. The Ouroboros thing is really disgusting. There's a lot of symbolism to it. It's been used for many, many years. But something about it, or many things about it, for some reason, just really disgusts me. Something about it just seems really disgusting, besides self-cannibalism. But I'm a really literal guy. Really literal. And I do a lot of visualization. When I read a word or hear a word, I'm typically visualizing the meaning of that word, because that's this little autist in me bringing things to life via pictures in my brain. It helps me with memory, but yeah, anyway, ooh, that sun. All right, well, that's enough of that. I'm gonna go to work now, and I'm gonna rethink my life, because I did this stream, friends. Like, it's like life stops happening when the sun is in your eyes. No, I just, obviously this is an introductory. Like, this isn't even anything. This is palaver. I did it again, but instead of the palaver being on Saturday morning, this time it's palaver on a Wednesday morning. But this was palaver this morning, and for that, I'm sorry. I'll work on it. I was trying to do face palmer a little justice. Talk about some symbols. It is a deep topic. There's a lot more to say about it, but I guess the most important thing is recognize these symbols and know what is true and what is not, and what is trickery, because a lot of symbolism leads to trickery. I get to my place of work, and then everybody shows up to the party, and I streamed way later than I was expecting. Tomorrow it'll probably be black, dark outside. Good morning, Orbo. Ciao. The dark is completely illogical. Yeah. Okay. It's all good. Y'all have a good one. In Washington State. Oh, and to answer your question, I'm in Florida. So there you go. I'm getting out of here. Pray that we have a productive day and do our work as unto the Lord. Read your Bible.